Hello, everyone. Welcome back to SmartSpeak Podcast, where real conversations help you speak real English.
I'm Liam.
And I'm Emma.
So grab a coffee, sit back, and let's learn English together.
Let's get started.
You know, Emma, I was reading a fascinating report this morning about how quickly the world is changing. It got me thinking about the future, specifically the year 2030.
2030? That is only a few years away, Liam. It sounds like a science fiction movie, but it is actually right around the corner. What did the report say?
Well, it estimated that nearly 85% of the jobs that will exist in 2030 haven't even been invented yet. Think about that for a moment.
Wow, that is a mind-blowing statistic. 85%. It means our listeners and both of us need to prepare for a completely unknown future. So, what is the secret to surviving and thriving in that kind of world?
Exactly. Everyone is asking, what is the ultimate skill we need? Many people assume it is coding, artificial intelligence engineering, or advanced data analysis.
Right, because technology is everywhere now. It seems natural to think that technical skills are the most important.
But here's the surprising part. Tech skills are useful, but they are not the most valuable asset you can have. The number one skill for 2030 is something completely different, and almost anyone can develop it.
Oh, you have piqued my curiosity, Liam. Don't keep us waiting. What is this mysterious, super valuable skill?
It is called adaptability. It is the ability to rapidly learn new things, unlearn old habits, and adjust to new situations without losing your mind.
Adaptability. That makes so much sense. If the world is constantly shifting, the people who can change with it are the ones who will succeed.
Precisely. It is not about what you know right now. It is about how fast you can pick up something completely new.
Adaptability really is a powerful concept, but I think some people might feel a bit overwhelmed by it. They might ask, how do we actually practice being adaptable in our daily lives?
That is a great question, Emma. To understand it, we should look at how our brains work. Scientists call it neuroplasticity.
Neuroplasticity? That sounds like a heavy scientific word, but it basically means our brains can change and grow at any age, right?
Spot on. Our brains are not like concrete blocks. They are more like plastic or clay. They can reshape themselves when we learn new habits.
That is incredibly reassuring. It means no matter how old you are or what your background is, you are never stuck. You can always train your brain to handle new challenges.
Absolutely. But most people don't realize this. We often kill our own adaptability by staying in our comfort zones for too long. We love routine because it feels safe.
Oh, I am definitely guilty of that sometimes. It is so comfortable to do the exact same things every day, like ordering the same food or taking the same route to work.
We all do it. But when you stay in that bubble, your brain becomes lazy. It stops creating those new connections.
So to build this valuable skill for 2030, we have to intentionally disrupt our own comfort. We need to look for small ways to challenge ourselves.
Yes, exactly. It starts with small things. Change your routine, read a book on a topic you know nothing about, or listen to a new type of music.
Or even better, learn a new language, just like our wonderful listeners are doing right now by tuning into this podcast.
Honestly, learning English is one of the best ways to train your brain to be adaptable. You are constantly translating, understanding new cultures, and thinking differently.
That is a fantastic point, Liam. Learning a language forces you to accept that you don't know everything, which is a big part of being adaptable.
It really is. You have to be comfortable with making mistakes. And speaking of mistakes, I want to share a short story about a famous company that failed because they refused to adapt.
Oh, I love stories. Which company are we talking about?
Do you remember a company called Blockbuster? Back in the day, they were the absolute kings of movie rentals. They had thousands of stores all over the world.
I definitely remember them. Going to Blockbuster on a Friday night to pick out a movie was a huge ritual when I was younger. What happened to them?
Well, in the early 2000s, a tiny new company came along called Netflix. At the time, Netflix just mailed DVDs to people's houses. The founders of Netflix actually went to Blockbuster and offered to partner with them.
Really? I did not know that. That could have changed history. What did the executives at Blockbuster say?
What happened next was unexpected. The CEO of Blockbuster literally laughed at them. He thought Netflix was a joke and that nobody would want to rent movies online or through the mail.
Wow, he completely misjudged the future. He thought his current success would last forever.
Exactly. Blockbuster stayed stuck in their old ways, while Netflix adapted to new technology and internet speeds. Fast forward a few years, and Blockbuster went completely bankrupt. Today, they only have one single store left in the world as a museum.
That is a legendary example of what happens when you refuse to change. It is a cautionary tale for all of us. If a multi-billion-dollar company can disappear because it didn't adapt, the same thing can happen to our careers if we refuse to learn new skills.
Exactly. The lesson here is clear. Never laugh at new trends. Instead, try to understand them.
That story about Blockbuster is a perfect illustration. It shows that being stubborn in your career is incredibly dangerous. But let's look at the positive side. What does high adaptability look like in a real person?
Well, let's think about a friend of mine named Sarah. A few years ago, she was a traditional graphic designer. She spent years mastering print design, like creating logos, billboards, and magazines.
That sounds like a solid career. There is always a need for design, right?
There was, until digital media took over completely. Suddenly, clients didn't want printed magazines anymore. They wanted websites, mobile apps, and interactive animations. Sarah noticed her freelance clients were disappearing.
That must have been terrifying for her. Her hard-earned skills were suddenly becoming less relevant. What did she do? Did she give up?
Not at all. And this changes everything. Instead of complaining or wishing things would go back to normal, she took action. She dedicated 1 hour every single evening to learning how to design digital applications.
That requires a lot of discipline, especially after a long day of regular work.
It really does. She used free videos online, took affordable courses, and practiced constantly. Within a year, she completely transformed her skill set. Today, she makes twice as much money as an app designer, and she absolutely loves it.
That is so inspiring, Liam. Sarah didn't wait for her job to disappear. She saw the wave coming and she learned how to surf it.
Exactly. She didn't let fear paralyze her. She used her curiosity to build a bridge to the future.
I think that is a key point. Being adaptable doesn't mean you never feel afraid. It means you move forward despite the fear, because you know learning is your superpower.
Well said, Emma. Fear is natural when things change, but curiosity is the antidote to fear.
I love that phrase. Curiosity is the antidote to fear. It is so true. When we are curious, we see changes as adventures rather than threats.
Absolutely. And when we look toward 2030, another massive shift we need to talk about is artificial intelligence. AI is changing how we write, code, and even make art.
Yes, AI is a very hot topic right now. Some people are genuinely worried that AI will replace human workers entirely. Do you think that will happen?
Personally, I don't think AI will replace humans, but most people don't realize this. Humans who use AI will replace humans who do not use AI.
Oh, that is a subtle but profound difference. It means AI is a tool, like a calculator or a computer. A calculator didn't replace mathematicians, it just made them much faster.
Exactly. The people who thrive in 2030 will be those who can collaborate with technology. They will use AI to handle the boring, repetitive tasks so they can focus on high-level strategy and creativity.
That sounds like a win-win situation. It means we can let technology do the heavy lifting while we focus on our unique human abilities.
Precisely. But to do that, you have to be willing to play with these tools today. You can't just ignore them and hope they go away.
Right. It goes back to our main theme of adaptability. If a new tool appears, don't run away from it. Open it, experiment with it, and see how it can help you.
Exactly. For example, if you are an English learner, you can use AI tools to practice conversations, check your writing, or generate practice quizzes. It is an incredible resource if you use it wisely.
It really is. Technology can be our greatest ally if we have the right mindset. So, Liam, we have talked about adaptability and how technology plays a role in our future. But let's look at the actual mindset behind adaptability. It is often called a growth mindset.
Yes, a growth mindset is essential. It is a concept popularized by a psychologist named Carol Dweck. Essentially, it is the belief that your basic abilities can be developed through dedication and hard work.
Compared to a fixed mindset, where someone believes they are born with a certain amount of intelligence or talent, and they can never change it.
Right. A person with a fixed mindset might say, I am just not good at languages, or I am not a tech person. They view their limitations as permanent walls.
That is such a limiting way to live. But here's the surprising part. Many people don't realize they have a fixed mindset until they face a major setback.
That is so true. When things are going well, it is easy to feel smart and capable. But when you fail an exam, lose a client, or struggle with a new software, that is when your true mindset shows up.
Exactly. A person with a growth mindset sees failure not as proof of incompetence, but as a friendly reminder that they need to learn and improve. They see it as a stepping stone, not a dead end.
I love that perspective. Think about a child learning to walk. They fall down dozens of times every day, but they never stop and think, well, I guess walking just isn't for me. They just get back up and try again.
That is a perfect example, Liam. Somewhere along the way to becoming adults, we become afraid of looking silly or failing. We forget that stumbling is a mandatory part of the learning process.
It absolutely is. To be adaptable for 2030, we need to reclaim that childhood curiosity and resilience. We have to be willing to be bad at something new before we can be good at it.
Being willing to be bad at something before you are good at it is such a powerful piece of advice. It relieves so much pressure.
It really does. And this brings us to another critical component of adaptability, the concept of unlearning.
Unlearning? That sounds a bit strange, Liam. How do you unlearn something? Do you just forget it?
Not exactly. Unlearning means letting go of old information, old methods, or old beliefs that are no longer useful or true.
Ah, I see. So it is not about losing memory. It is about updating your internal software.
Exactly. Think of it like cleaning out your closet. If you keep buying new clothes but never throw away the old, broken ones, your closet will overflow and become useless.
That is a wonderful analogy. In our careers, we often hold on to old ways of working just because that is how we have always done it.
Yes, and that phrase is the absolute enemy of progress. What happened next was unexpected. In a study about corporate culture, researchers found that companies that focus heavily on past success are actually the most vulnerable to sudden disruption.
Because they become complacent. They assume their old strategies will work forever, even when the market changes completely around them.
Exactly. The same applies to individuals. The skills that got you your current job might not be the skills that help you keep it in 2030. We must constantly audit ourselves and ask, is this habit still serving me?
That requires a lot of honesty and self-awareness. It means we have to swallow our pride and admit when our old methods are outdated.
It does, but the reward is immense. When you let go of the old, you create space for fresh, exciting opportunities to enter your life upon.
This entire conversation is making me realize how interconnected all these ideas are. To be truly adaptable, you need curiosity, a growth mindset, and the willingness to unlearn.
Absolutely, Emma. They all work together. And the beautiful thing about adaptability is that it is a general skill. It protects you no matter what happens in the economy.
What do you mean by a general skill? Can you explain that a bit more?
Sure. Think of a highly specialized skill, like knowing how to repair a specific model of a machine. If that machine becomes obsolete, your skill becomes obsolete too.
Right, you are entirely dependent on that one specific thing.
But adaptability is a universal skill. If you're adaptable, it doesn't matter if your industry changes, if your job title changes, or if you have to move to a new country. You know how to learn, so you can adjust to any new reality.
And this changes everything. It turns you from a passive victim of change into an active participant. You stop fearing the future because you know you can handle whatever it throws at you.
Exactly. It gives you a profound sense of inner security. You don't rely on a company or a stable economy for safety. You rely on your own ability to figure things out.
I think that is the ultimate freedom, Liam. Knowing that you can adapt to any situation gives you immense confidence.
It truly does. And the best part is that our listeners are actively building this confidence right now. By listening to this podcast in English, analyzing these ideas, and expanding their horizons, they are becoming highly adaptable global citizens.
I completely agree. Our audience is already ahead of the curve just by being here and committing to self-improvement. As we start to wrap up today's discussion, Liam, let's give our listeners some very practical, actionable takeaways. We want them to leave this episode with clear steps they can take today.
Definitely. Action is where real change happens. My first recommendation is what I call the 10-minute curiosity habit.
I love the sound of that. How does it work?
Every day, spend just 10 minutes reading or learning about something completely outside your normal field. If you are an accountant, read a short article about space exploration. If you're a teacher, watch a quick video about coding.
That sounds simple and fun. It gently expands your mind and breaks the routine without taking up too much time. What is the second step?
The second step is to actively seek feedback. Most people hate criticism, but constructive feedback is a goldmine for growth. Ask a colleague or a friend, how can I improve this? Or what am I missing?
That is an excellent point. Other people can see our blind spots much better than we can. It helps us unlearn our mistakes much faster.
Exactly. And the final step is to embrace discomfort. Once a week, do something that scares you slightly. Speak up in a meeting, try a new hobby, or have a conversation with a stranger in English.
That is a wonderful challenge, Liam. Every time we step out of our comfort zone, our world gets a little bit bigger.
It really does. By practicing these small steps daily, by 2030, adaptability won't just be a skill you have, it will be who you are.
What a beautiful way to think about it. It is an investment in your future self that will pay dividends for the rest of your life.
It has been an absolute pleasure discussing this with you today, Emma. It really reminds us that the future isn't something to fear. It is something to design.
I couldn't agree more, Liam. The year 2030 is full of incredible potential. By developing our adaptability, our curiosity, and our growth mindsets, we can unlock doors we haven't even imagined yet.
Absolutely. And to all our listeners out there, remember that every single step counts. Every word you learn, every podcast you listen to, and every mistake you learn from is shaping you into a stronger version of yourself.
Yes! Be patient with yourself, stay curious, and enjoy the beautiful journey of continuous learning. You are capable of amazing things.
Well said, Emma. I hope everyone feels inspired to try something new today. even if it is just a tiny change in their daily routine.
Thank you for joining us today on SmartSpeak Podcast.
If you enjoyed this conversation and learned something new, don't forget to subscribe and share this podcast with a friend.
Keep practicing, keep improving, and keep speaking English.
We'll see you in the next episode.
Bye, everyone.